Thanks for joining us. I'm at the Fire Mountain Gems and Beads Jewelry Design Studio. I'm Wisniewski, author of New Connections in Chainmaille Jewelry. And today we're going to work on to-the-point earrings, and I'm ready to rock and roll. To get started with this project, you'll need a couple different items. You're going to want some large, thick jump rings, some thinner jump rings in the exact same size, and then some smaller, just slightly smaller, thin rings. Then we have large glass rings and even larger glass rings, size 6 Wisniewski seed beads, and we have niobium ear wires and tiny rings to connect the ear wires. Let's go ahead and get this started. What we want to do is take one of the large thick jump rings, open that up, and put both sizes of the glass ring on it. So there's both sizes. Close it. And then we're going to double it. And you're going to need strong pliers for these thick, large jump rings. So we take another large, thick jump ring and go through both glass rings, doubling what we did, basically repeating it exactly. Close it. And if we hold out the single glass ring, you'll see where they're connected, and what we're going to do next is take the thinner ring in the same exact inner diameter, and it's actually going to go through the very middle with the seed beads. And this is the trickiest part of this project, to get it to sit in there just so, because the two beads are going to be on either side of the smaller glass ring. So let's go ahead and get that in there. Oh, these guys here, the thinner, large, thinner, large. And the trick to getting this in there is going through half of it first, and I do usually keep this kind of flat so that it doesn't move around as I'm trying to get the beads on. I go through that center, just the jump rings only, not the glass. And then I slide the beads on, and very carefully, without moving this too much, what I'm trying to accomplish is getting that smaller glass ring in between the beads before I come out the other side of the jump rings. So very carefully, I tilt my wrist, and I make sure both of the beads are inside of the jump rings. Yep, and that happens. It can pop right off. Okay, so I'm still inside there. Very carefully here. I'm going to grab it just slightly here. And I've got one in the right position, so the first one is in the exact right position. Now I need to get this one in the right position before I dip down that leading edge through the other two jump rings. So very gently I pull it backwards. This is where fingernails help. And very carefully pull back the jump ring so that I have room to slide through. And I've got it. And it'll feel tight. Once I've got it in, then I can go ahead and close it, and you're closing it directly above the smaller glass ring. So it'll feel a little tight there. And that's what we have. Now, one thing to note, this guy is still going to want to move. He's going to move, and then there's a chance that the whole thing just comes undone, right? So if that happens, what do we want to do is close that back up, pick up the whole thing so we can see how to fix it, because we need to move the two glass rings apart from each other. And if that happens, you're just going to have to very gently tuck that glass ring back inside and then pull that back down again. So that will happen until we get the other two rings on the side, which kind of hold the position of the whole earring. All right. Go ahead and take the slightly smaller thin jump rings. And what you're doing now is you're going through this tiny little hole. This tiny hole here and this tiny hole here. Can you guys even see that? With 2 new jump rings. And it's going to come out and around the glass to the side of the glass. Here. Come all the way through the back and close the jump ring up here. So once you get it through the hole on both sides of the large jump rings, go ahead and close it up here. And repeat on the other side, right next to the glass, the smaller glass ring. I'm right here. I went through and you can see that these new aluminum rings I'm adding are directly next to the smaller glass ring. Okay, and I'm ready to go ahead and put my ear wire on. This is where I use the tiny jump ring. And all I'm going to do is go through these 2 last rings that I've added, the very 2 last rings only. Twirl it around so I have enough room to close it. Slide your ear wire on and close this. Small thin pliers will help here at the little tiny jump ring to get it closed. And there you have it. Whether you make these earrings to wear, sell, or give, please join us at firemountaingems.com for more great projects.